Hey, what's up everybody? Aaron here, and today I'm going to talk about that big question, how do you book your first wedding? Alright, so while I jump into the content, let me give you a little bit of a background. This is my third year in operation, 2021, and this year I'm scheduled to do almost 30 weddings. I'm at 27 right now. I feel like I'm really close. My goal is 30. And the reason why I'm doing this video is that when I talk to other DJs or I mention that, I kind of get this face. And I thought, okay, so maybe I'm doing something right. Well, let me just explain what I did to get to 30 my third year. Okay, number one, the first thing I would suggest if you are just starting out and you want to be a wedding DJ, don't start yet. Don't do it. I think you need to go out and find out, one, if you like this, and two, if you're any good at it. Those two things really go hand in hand. If you are becoming a wedding DJ and then you book your first wedding, you've never done one before, and show up and you're like, oh my God, I hate this. Well, you're in trouble because you've booked yourself already out. The second thing is you gotta figure out if you're any good at this. So how do you book yourself a wedding without booking yourself a wedding? Well, what I did was I actually got hired by one of the bigger companies in town. And I wasn't setting off to do my own thing, but I honestly was just trying to see, hey, do I like this? So I went and I got hired and I followed and I shadowed a couple of DJs. And then after I got approved, I was sent off and did my own wedding. Now, here's the truth. This is for me. I realized that I loved it. I loved every second of it. I honestly couldn't believe this was a job. I got to go, party with people, play kick-ass music, and have fun. It was me in a nutshell. So that's me. It fit my personality, and I realized, okay. So I went back to the company and I said, book me every gig you can. I took every single gig they gave me. And to be honest, the pay wasn't great. But at this point, I looked at it as this is sort of my internship. Let me get out there. They're putting me out in weddings. I'm getting to try new things. I'm getting better at it. And the experience was starting to build. Then I started to notice that I was getting reviewed in positive ways. Brides were coming back and reviewing me on their website. I was getting pretty big tips. And so at the end of the day, I sort of looked at those two things. Do I like this? Am I any good at it? And for me, I looked at it and said, yeah, yes to both. So it's time to go out and start my own thing. All right, so you've shadowed, you feel comfortable, you've got a good dozen, maybe 15 weddings under your belt. You feel like, hey, I want to branch off and try to do this myself. A couple things you want to do before you do that. Take the time and put your branding together. And what I mean by that is come up with your business name and do everything legit. Get yourself an LLC to protect your business. Build your website. If you're not good at that, don't do it. If you're not good at web design, and look, not all of us are good at it. I'm not even saying I'm good at it, but if you need to, hire somebody to do it. Spend some money, invest in your website. This is the first place that couples are gonna look to see if you're a legitimate DJ. It's their first impression. And second advice I would give, when you're building your website, make sure it also looks good on the phone. Because when I look at my SEO traffic and when I look at my web traffic, over half of the people that visit my website are on their phone. And so when I'm putting my website or I'm editing it, I work on the desktop first, and then I use Wix, by the way. And then I switch over to the mobile view to make sure that everything looks good on mobile. So when you're doing your website, make sure that the words are all on the screen and nothing's too big and the pictures work and your videos, all that looks good on your mobile. Then you want to make your social media presence known. So build yourself a Facebook page and an Instagram. And then as you're creating content, upload everything to both. I get way more engagement on Instagram than I do Facebook, but all of my reviews are on Facebook. Plus, I do have people say that they've jumped on there to check it out. Now, when you're first starting out, you don't have a lot of content to put out, so don't worry about that. But as you start to build gigs, put some stuff out there. If you don't have any wedding gigs, then post videos of you mixing or setting up your gear or just something to let people know, hey, I'm out here and I'm doing stuff. All right, so you got your website built, your socials, get some business cards, you've got an LLC, you're pretty much legit. Now, what do? Invest in your gear. This is important, and I will stress this. It's going to be easy for you to want to cheap out and get the cheapest equipment you can find. I would highly suggest against that. Because remember, you're at this gig for 8 to 9 hours. You're providing the music, the sound, the microphones, all that. Your stuff has to be good. You don't want to be having to fix or troubleshoot your gear in the middle of somebody's wedding. This is going to be an investment and it's going to be hard, but look at it that way. Because if you buy the good stuff, then you won't have to worry about it and you can show up to the gig with a peace of mind, which is kind of my approach to it, which might be wrong because I always tend to go towards the higher sticker items. But in the end, I just want that quality and I want that assurance that my stuff is going to work at the gig. So how much is that going to cost? It can range between, I've seen YouTube videos where DJs are like, you get your whole mobile setup for $1,000. Sure, you can get $1,000 equipment, but only charge $300 at the event. You can't charge a premium price if you're rolling out with these dusty ass speakers and CDs. Okay? Don't go to the discount aisle to buy your DJ shit. Get the good stuff. Because if you're in the middle of a reception or a ceremony and your mics are feeding back or your power just blows or your speaker blows out, and that's stuff that happens with good stuff, rarely, but it's more likely to happen with the cheap stuff. All right, website's built. You've got all the good gear. And now you're just sitting there staring at your email. Is anybody gonna hire me? No. That's not gonna happen. Where are the leads, Aaron? Where are my leads? Yeah, so how do we generate leads? Here's a couple of tips that I'll give out to you. Number one, if you're just starting out, use your own community to announce that, hey, I'm a wedding DJ now. Hey, this is what I'm doing now. And if you got a wedding coming up, hit me up for special pricing or whatever. That's honestly how I booked my first gig. The first gig I booked on my own was from people that knew me. They hit me up on Instagram. Aaron, I heard you're a wedding DJ. Are you available this date? I was. I booked it. I got my very first gig booked just by telling people, hey, I'm doing this. The second thing that I did is I thought, well, nobody knows that I'm this DJ. I need to go tell people that. So I signed myself up for a wedding fair. And I'm going to be honest, these have worked incredible for me. Being at a wedding fair, I get a face-to-face opportunity to interact with my potential clients. And usually when I come home from those things, I've got a leads list of about 45. That means that 45 people came up and said, yeah, I'll give you my email, let's talk. Out of those, I probably book about 10 to 11. Wedding fairs are also a great way for you to connect with other vendors around. So when you get there and you set up, I always walk around to meet other people, especially photographers and venue. And I got a stack of business cards in my pocket. I walk around, I'll meet them, introduce myself. Hey, tell me about your place. Let them talk about their place, hand out cards, exchange, follow each other on social media. Boom, there's a connection point. Remember, first contact point for a couple once they get married is they want to lock a venue down and photographer, and then they kind of move to the DJ. So you want to be fresh in their minds. And to be honest, the relationships that I've built at these fairs have resulted in several referrals. So you can book a wedding simply by meeting somebody and them going, oh, he was cool or she was cool, and them give out your name. Referrals are gold. I will tell you that if you can get a referral come into your email box, it's booked unless you royally f it up. All you have to do once a referral comes in is just live up to what the referral said about you. That you're cool, that you're easygoing, flexible, and you want to work with them. All right, my last advice when it comes to booking weddings is kind of piggybacking off of the wedding fair where it comes to the other vendors. Your relationship is so important, and here's where that begins, at the weddings that you're doing. When you are there, do not hide behind your booth, just mixing music, not engaging or talking to anybody. One of the reasons why I arrive early at a wedding is I love to introduce myself to the venue manager or whoever is coordinating the event, the day of if they have one, the photographer, and don't interrupt them while they're doing their job. If they're taking pictures, don't go like, hey, I want to introduce myself, I'm DJ Mike, and I just they're gonna be like, hey, you get the hell out of here. Eat dinner with them. If there's a table for vendors, go sit and eat dinner with these people. You know why? Because when they get clients coming in asking for DJs, they'll remember you. And that's what you want. You want those referrals. Respect the rules of the venue. If they say the last song is at 11, even if everybody is chanting one more song, do not play that last song. Yes, you might get a group of drunk people happy that you played one more song that they are not going to remember tomorrow, but you have definitely pissed everybody off at the staff at the venue. Why? Because they want to go home and you're keeping them there for that extra 4 minutes. So I know you want to get that party going, but if the venue says, hey, last song is at 11, stick to that and they will appreciate that. All right, I've got one more bonus tip, and this is for after your wedding is done. Try to get a review. Either get them to review on Google or on Facebook, and don't hit them up like the next day. I usually wait about 2 weeks. Let them go on a honeymoon. Their inboxes are gonna be flooded also, and they're sick of emails because leading up to the event, all they've been doing is getting emails from all of us. So they're gonna wanna break from that. Give it to them. Give them a break. They'll remember that you were awesome. Hey Jasmine, it was a blast being at your wedding. Include a picture. So take a picture of them at their first dance or the ceremony. Put that in there so you're like giving them something, and then hopefully they'll give you something. And then include your link. That's nice and easy. Just click that they can boom, 5 stars, you're done. The more of those you collect, the easier it will be for you to book. Okay, that's my tips on how to book your first wedding, or maybe some tips on how to book some more weddings as we get into the 2021 season. Go ahead, leave in the comments maybe some ideas that you have or some thoughts building off of what I've said, or hey Aaron, I tried that, it did work, or you know what, it didn't work. Take whatever you can from this and apply it to your business in any way that it can help. All right, that's it everybody. If you like this and if you like me, then you know what to do and just do that shit.